What if the world judged you by your scars, your tattered clothes, and your silence, only to be silenced by your unshakable strength? At the Ironwood Prestige range, a humble woman named Mara Stone faced a storm of ridicule for her faded jacket, her scuffed boots, and a weathered Colt rifle that seemed more relic than weapon. The elite crowd, generals, tech moguls, and socialites, sneered, branding her a groundskeeper and a relic. But when she blindfolded herself and fired 10 flawless bullseyes, their laughter turned to stunned silence, her shots echoing a legacy that would rewrite their world. Welcome to Daily Narrated Stories, where we uncover tales of grit, triumph, and the human spirit. Subscribe now as we aim for 1,000 subscribers and join us on this incredible journey. The Ironwood Prestige range stood like a fortress in the misty valleys of North Carolina, its sleek titanium lanes and crystal observation decks shimmering under a crisp fall sky. This wasn't just a shooting range. It was a sanctuary for the powerful, where admirals swapped classified whispers, politicians flexed their influence, and billionaire heirs played with firearms worth more than luxury yachts. The air carried the sharp scent of gunpowder and privilege, where custom rounds cost $300 each, and digital scoreboards measured precision to the nanometer. The Ironwood Legacy Tournament, an exclusive annual event, was the crown jewel of this elite world, reserved for military icons, political insiders, and their hand-picked successors. In 2025, the tournament drew a crowd of tailored uniforms and designer tactical gear, their gazes fixed on the firing lanes, their murmurs laced with superiority. Among the competitors was Jace Sterling, 35, the reigning champion and son of General Magnus Sterling, a defense ministry titan. But a new name on the roster sparked curiosity. Mara Stone, 28, with no credentials or invitation, a complete unknown who'd somehow bypassed the stringent entry rules. Mara stepped onto the range, her faded navy jacket patched at the elbows, her boots scuffed and muddy, her dark blonde hair tied back in a loose braid. Her face was striking, sharp cheekbones, soft blue-gray eyes that held a quiet fire, and a faint scar tracing her jawline. She carried a scratched Colt rifle, its finish peeling, its wooden stock etched with years of use, wrapped in a frayed linen cloth that concealed burn scars on her hands. In her other hand, a rusted metal ammo tin held rounds so old they seemed obsolete to the Ironwood elite. The crowd froze, not in admiration, but in disbelief, their whispers slicing through the air like knives. "Who let her in?" barked Roland Finch, 50, a tech magnate with a private jet and a governor in his pocket, swirling his bourbon with a scowl. "Is that rifle from a pawn shop?" sneered Elise Marrow, 32, a social media star with a custom Glock and 1 million followers, her sleek ponytail swaying as she laughed. A range assistant, clutching a tablet, muttered to his supervisor, "She can't be serious. This is the Legacy Tournament, not a garage sale." Mara's blue-gray eyes swept the lanes, steady and unreadable, her silence a shield against their scorn, her heart pounding with a mix of defiance and memory, the scent of pine and gun oil from her father's lessons lingering in her mind. The mockery grew sharper as Mara approached the registration desk, her ammo tin tucked under her arm, the rusted metal cold against her skin. General Arthur Langston, 62, the head judge with a stern face and a chest full of medals, squinted at her, his voice dripping with disdain. "You lost, miss? The cleaning crew's over there." The crowd's laughter was a cruel wave, rolling through the stands like a storm, each chuckle a fresh wound. Elise, polishing her scope with a microfiber cloth, smirked, her tone biting. "What's your deal, huh? Here to compete or mop the floors?" Theo Carver, 44, a venture capitalist who'd paid a six-figure sum to secure his spot in the tournament, clapped mockingly, his Rolex glinting under the range lights. "That rifle's a scrap heap candidate. Try selling it for parts," he jeered, his voice thick with condescension. Mara unwrapped her linen cloth, revealing her scarred hands, the burns a map of her past struggles, each mark a memory of a 2012 raid where she'd saved a village school. the flames searing her skin as children's cries echoed in her ears. She opened her tin, each hand loaded, round, gleaming despite its age. The brass dull, but meticulously polished, a labor of love from nights spent in a dimly lit cabin. She loaded her Colt with a fluid grace, her fingers unshaken by the taunts, her movements a silent defiance against the storm of ridicule, her inner voice a whisper of resolve. They'll see. They'll all see. The range announcer, Derek Holt, 47, a former war correspondent with a commanding voice that had once narrated battlefield dispatches, seized the chance to humiliate her over the speakers. "Folks, we've got a vintage collector today," he boomed, his tone dripping with sarcasm, each word a calculated jab meant to sting. Mara Stone, with a rifle straight out of a frontier tale, gracing our state-of-the-art range. The stands erupted in laughter, a cacophony of derision that echoed off the titanium walls, the sound of physical force that pressed against Mara's resolve. Some spectators mimicked old-timey gunfights, twirling imaginary revolvers, while others shouted, "Giddy up!" in exaggerated drawls, their voices sharp with mockery. Derek added, his voice a venomous crescendo, "Let's give her a round of applause for bravery, I guess." The crowd clapped derisively, some whistling sharply, others stomping their feet in a mocking rhythm that reverberated through the range. Mara's hands paused on her tin, her blue-gray eyes burning with a quiet storm, her inner voice steel. "They've turned me into a spectacle. I'll turn their mockery into ash." Her heart pounded, not with fear, but with a simmering resolve, the weight of their words pressing against her like a physical force. She could smell the polished leather of their tactical vests, the faint tang of their expensive colognes mingling with the gunpowder in the air, a sensory assault that only sharpened her focus, her father's lessons a steady anchor in the chaos. Jace Sterling stood at the range's edge, his tactical gear pristine, his amber eyes piercing like a predator's, his presence a stark contrast to Mara's understated defiance. The son of General Magnus Sterling, Jace had been molded by privilege, trained at an elite academy where he'd spent his teenage years perfecting his aim under the best instructors, coached by former Olympians, a four-time tournament winner at 35. His victories were a badge of dominance, each trophy a testament to his lineage, his name whispered with reverence in military circles. He glanced at Mara, his smirk cutting through the tension like a blade, his voice carrying the weight of entitlement. "I don't compete against people with hand-me-downs," he said, loud enough for the stands to hear, his tone laced with arrogance. The crowd cheered, their applause a tidal wave that crashed over Mara, threatening to drown her resolve, their voices a chorus of elitism that echoed through the range. Arthur whispered to his co-judge, Clara Vane, 54, a retired major loyal to the Sterlings, her face a mask of cold professionalism. "Let her shoot for entertainment," he murmured, his lips curling into a sneer, his metals glinting under the lights. "She'll face Jace. It'll be a show." Clara nodded, her eyes narrowing as she sized Mara up, her disdain palpable, her fingers tightening around her clipboard as if Mara's presence offended her sense of order. During the equipment check, a mandatory procedure overseen by Arthur and Clara, the sabotage began, a deliberate act meant to break Mara's spirit before she even fired a shot. Clara, at Arthur's signal, examined Mara's rifle with contempt, her gloved hands running over the scratched barrel as if it might contaminate her, her lips curling in disgust. "This thing's a hazard," she muttered, loud enough for nearby competitors to hear, her voice sharp with scorn. "It'll probably misfire and embarrass us all." She accidentally knocked Mara's ammo tin off the table, the metal clattering against the concrete floor, scattering rounds into the gravel with a sound like shattered dreams. The dull brass glinted in the dirt, each round a piece of Mara's preparation now sullied by their cruelty, each one a memory of late nights spent hand-loading with her father, his steady hands guiding hers. Elise called out from her station, her voice a sharp taunt. "Careful, don't ruin the relic. It might be her only heirloom." The crowd snickered, their laughter a fresh wound. the sound a cruel echo in Mara's ears. Arthur smirked, his metals glinting under the lights, and denied Mara time to gather her rounds, his voice cold and final. "Rules are rules. Move along," he said, his eyes glinting with malicious satisfaction, his authority a weapon wielded against her. Mara knelt, salvaging what she could, her boots now streaked with dirt, her hands trembling not from fear, but from the sheer weight of their disdain. The gravel bit into her knees, the cold seeping through her thin jacket, but her inner voice was icy. "They think they can break me with tricks. They'll learn I'm forged in fire." She picked up each round with deliberate care, her scarred fingers brushing away the dirt, her heart heavy with the memory of nights spent hand-loading these rounds in a dimly lit cabin, her father's voice echoing in her mind. "Every shot counts, Mara. Make them yours." The scent of gun oil clung to her hands, a reminder of those quiet moments of connection, a lifeline in the face of their cruelty. During a mandatory shooter briefing held in a sleek conference room adjacent to the range, the other competitors, led by Elise, ostracized Mara with calculated precision, their exclusion a silent weapon meant to isolate and humiliate. As Arthur outlined the rules, 10 shots, 350 meters, no scopes, no wind adjustments after the first shot. The air was thick with tension, the room a stark contrast to the misty outdoors, its polished wood and fluorescent lights a symbol of the elite world Mara had invaded. Elise and her clique of elite shooters, decked in high-end gear that gleamed under the lights, formed a tight circle, their backs turned to Mara, who stood alone by the wall, her faded jacket a stark contrast to their polished uniforms, her presence a silent challenge to their exclusivity. Elise whispered loudly, her voice a venomous hiss, "Don't let the junkyard girl near us." Her rifle might crumble and curse her shots. The group snickered, some brushing off their gear as if Mara's presence tainted it, their movements exaggerated for effect, their laughter a sharp blade that cut through the air. Theo added, his tone mocking, "She's probably here to scavenge our casings for spare change. Maybe she'll pawn them for a new pair of boots." A younger shooter, emboldened by the group's cruelty, tossed a fake pass at Mara's feet, the paper fluttering to the ground, labeled custodian's guest in bold red letters, the words a cruel mockery of her place in their world. Mara picked it up silently, her fingers brushing the crumpled paper, her inner voice resolute. "They exclude me to shatter me. Soon they'll beg to stand in my light." The room smelled of polished wood and arrogance, the faint hum of the air conditioning a constant reminder of the sterile, elite world she'd stepped into, a world that sought to reject her at every turn. Her heart ached, not for their approval, but for the memory of her father's quiet encouragement, his hand on her shoulder as they trained in the woods, the scent of pine and gun oil a comforting constant, a reminder of a time when her worth wasn't measured by wealth or status. The night before, at a pre-tournament gala in Ironwood's mahogany-paneled lounge, the crowd had sipped martinis, their chatter turning to Silas Holt, a sniper legend who disappeared 25 years ago after a classified mission in Eastern Europe, his name a whispered legend in military circles. The room was a haze of cigar smoke and crystal chandeliers, the clink of glasses a backdrop to their elitist banter, the air heavy with the scent of wealth and exclusion. Elise, holding her martini with a delicate grip, sneered to a group of VIPs, her voice sharp with disdain. If Silas Holt saw this girl with his rifle, he'd quit the sport. "She's a disgrace." Theo chuckled, his cufflinks glinting as he adjusted his tie, his voice a low growl. "She's a fraud clinging to his name. Probably bought that rifle at a flea market." Arthur, overhearing as he sipped his whiskey, joined in, his voice gruff. Holt was a giant. This girl's a stain on his legacy. The laughter spread like wildfire, glasses clinking in toast to real marksmen, their voices a chorus of exclusion that echoed through the lounge. Mara, adjusting her gear in a corner, heard every word, her grip tightening on her rifle strap, the frayed linen digging into her palm, her heart heavy with the weight of their scorn. Her inner voice ached. "They desecrate my father to bury me. They'll choke on their words." The scent of cigar smoke stung her eyes, but she blinked it away, her resolve hardening with each cruel word, her memories of Silas's lessons a lifeline. Nights spent under the stars, his voice a steady guide as she learned to shoot by feel, not sight. The Milky Way above them a silent witness to her growth. The crowd's cruelty turned personal, targeting Mara's appearance with a venom that cut deeper than their earlier taunts, their words a calculated assault on her dignity. Roland Finch, swirling his bourbon, leaned toward a group of VIPs, his voice a low growl. Look at her jacket and boots. She looks like she's been sleeping in the woods. But she doesn't own a mirror. Elise, sipping champagne, laughed, her voice a sharp contrast to the soft clinking of glasses. She's going for rugged, but it's just sad. No wonder she's alone. A diplomat's aide, adjusting his tie, added, her face might be decent, but that outfit screams beggar. She doesn't belong here. The laughter echoed through the lounge. Glasses raised to Ironwood's standards, their elitism a suffocating fog that threatened to choke Mara's spirit. Mara, nearby, caught every barb, her fingers clenching her linen wrap, her blue-gray eyes a storm of restrained hurt, her inner voice raw. They judge my scars, my clothes, my silence. They'll learn my worth and lead. The room's opulence, the polished mahogany, the glittering chandeliers, felt like a gilded cage, each laugh a reminder of the world she'd never been part of, and the father who taught her to rise above it. His lessons a quiet fire that burned within her. Back at the range, the Legacy Tournament's rules were merciless. 10 shots at 350 meters, no scopes, no wind adjustments after the first shot. The Bullseye a mere speck, a challenge designed to separate the elite from the pretenders, a test of skill that favored the privileged. Jace stepped to the line, his custom Barrett rifle gleaming like a trophy, its barrel polished to a mirror finish, a symbol of his status. The crowd fell silent, internal cameras zooming in, their lenses capturing every detail of his form, his every movement a testament to years of training. He fired, 10 sharp cracks, his form flawless, his breathing rhythmic, each shot a testament to years of privilege and training, the sound echoing through the range like a declaration of dominance. The scoreboard flashed, 10.0, 10.0, 10.0, perfect. The stands exploded, chanting, Sterling, Sterling. Their voices a thunderous roar that shook the observation decks, their adulation a wave that threatened to sweep Mara away. Jace turned, his smirk aimed at Mara, his amber eyes glinting with triumph, his voice a taunt that cut through the noise. Your turn, junkyard girl. Or do you need a tissue? He sneered, his tone dripping with arrogance. Elise clapped, laughing, her custom Glock resting on her hip like a status symbol, her laughter a sharp contrast to the tension in the air. Theo shouted, "Don't waste our time, kid!" His voice a harsh bark, his impatience palpable. Roland raised his glass, toasting Jace's reign, the bourbon catching the light as he drank deeply, his confidence unshaken. Mara walked to the line, her jacket a quiet rebellion, her scratched colt a challenge to their polished world, her presence a silent defiance that stood in stark contrast to their opulence. She said nothing, her silence a blade that cut through their noise, her resolve a shield against their scorn. She kicked off her boots, standing barefoot on the cold concrete, her toes gripping the surface, grounding her in a way that felt primal, instinctual, the rough texture a stark contrast to the polished floors of the lounge. The concrete was rough against her skin, a reminder of the rocky path she'd walked with her father, but it anchored her, connecting her to the earth, to her father's lessons. From her pocket, she pulled a faded red bandana, its edges worn from years of use, a relic of her childhood training sessions with Silas, the fabric smelling faintly of pine and gun oil, a scent that brought her back to those Maine woods where she'd first learned to shoot. She tied it over her eyes, the knot firm, her world now darkness, the fabric a comforting weight against her skin, a reminder of her father's voice. Feel the rifle. Mara, let's speak to you. The crowd's laughter roared, a tidal wave of derision that threatened to sweep her away, their voices a chorus of mockery that echoed through the range. She's joking with live rounds. Roland jeered, his bourbon sloshing as he gestured wildly, his face flushed with amusement. Elise snorted, her voice sharp. What's next, a circus act? Maybe she'll juggle the bullets. Jace leaned against a post, chuckling, Don't shoot the judges, darling, his tone dripping with mockery, his amber eyes glinting with amusement. The crowd, egged on by Theo and Elise, chanted, Junk girl, their voices echoing off the range walls, a relentless assault that sought to break her spirit. Some stomped their feet, the rhythm a mocking drumbeat, while others waved mock salvage coupons, tossing them toward Mara's bench like confetti at a cruel parade, the paper fluttering to the ground in a mockery of celebration. Theo held a sign reading Scrapyard Princess, shouting, Back to the dump, junk girl, his voice a harsh growl that cut through the air. Arthur, instead of intervening, whispered to Clara, his voice low, Let them blow off steam. It's harmless. Young shooters, emboldened by the crowd's malice, waved more coupons, their laughter a sharp blade that sought to wound. Elise laughed, her voice cutting through the din. Maybe she can trade her rifle for a mop. She'd be more useful that way. Mara adjusted her bandana, her hands steady despite the cacophony, her inner voice unyielding. Their taunts are wind. My shots will be lightning. The air was thick with the scent of gunpowder and malice, the cold concrete beneath her feet a grounding force. Her father's lessons a beacon in the darkness of her blindfolded world, her heart a steady drumbeat of resolve. Right before her turn, Arthur grabbed the microphone, amplifying the crowd's cruelty with a voice that carried the weight of authority, his words a deliberate assault on Mara's dignity. Now, folks, we've got Mara Stone, he said, his tone thick with disdain, each word a deliberate jab meant to sting. She's here with, let's call it a rifle, for pity's sake. Don't expect much, but let's indulge her. The crowd roared with laughter, a wave of derision that crashed over Mara, some yelling, charity case, in mocking tones that echoed through the stands. Roland shouted, Give her a consolation prize, maybe a participation ribbon, his voice slurring slightly from the bourbon, his amusement palpable. Clara added, her voice cold, maybe she'll hit the dirt at least. That'd be a miracle. The scoreboard operators snickered, zooming cameras on Mara's scratched rifle for laughs, the screens above the stands displaying its imperfections in high definition, a public shaming meant to break her spirit. Mara stood barefoot, bandana in place, her blue-gray eyes hidden but burning with resolve, her inner voice iron. They belittle me to feel tall. I'll make them feel invisible. The air was crisp, the fall breeze carrying the scent of damp leaves and gunpowder, a reminder of the world outside this elite enclave, a world where she'd learned to survive, to thrive, to fight. Mara's fingers traced her rifle's scars, her inner voice a whisper, This is my arena now. The range fell silent, the fall breeze the only sound, rustling the wind flags with a soft, mournful sigh, the air heavy with anticipation. Mara breathed deeply, her chest rising, her ears tuned to the air's rhythm. The creak of a distant fence, the hum of the scoreboard, the faint rustle of leaves carried on the wind, each sound a piece of the puzzle her father had taught her to solve. She fired. The cracks sliced the air, sharp and final, like a thunderclap in a still forest, the sound reverberating through the range, a declaration of her presence. The scoreboard flashed, 10.0, bullseye, dead center. But then, a glitch, a flicker on the scoreboard, the numbers blurring for a moment, a heartbeat of uncertainty that hung in the air. Arthur muttered, System error, dismissing it with a wave of his hand, his voice smug, his metals glinting as he turned away, his confidence unshaken. The crowd exhaled, their mockery reignited, their laughter a fresh wave of scorn, their voices a chorus of disbelief. But Mara fired again. Shot 2, same rhythm, same precision, her body unyielding, her blindfolded world a symphony of instinct. 10.0. The glitch cleared, the score undeniable, the numbers glowing on the screen like a beacon, a testament to her skill. Experts leaned forward, their breaths held, their notebooks forgotten, their eyes wide with disbelief. Shot 3. No adjustments, her stance a statue, her breathing a metronome. 10.0. Colonel Edgar Holt, 67, a retired officer with a scarred face that told stories of battles long past, whispered. That's 0 visual delay. Only Silas Holt ever managed it, his voice trembling with awe, his hands shaking as he clutched his binoculars. After her 4th bullseye, the crowd's jeers dissolved into stunned silence. Their faces pale, their arrogance exposed as folly, their earlier confidence a distant memory. The scoreboard's relentless 10.0s flashed, each shot a blow to their pride, a dagger to their egos, a reminder of their misjudgment. Roland, his bourbon forgotten, stared, muttering, This can't be real. His voice barely audible over the hum of the scoreboard, his hands trembling as he set his glass down. Elise, her ponytail limp, gripped her Glock, her inner voice spiraling. I called her a fraud. She's rewriting history. Her hands trembled, the weight of her earlier words a physical burden. Her custom gear now feeling like a costume. Her confidence shattered. Spectators exchanged uneasy glances, their betting slips now a source of shame, their confidence replaced by a creeping dread, their voices hushed as they whispered among themselves. A young shooter dropped his scrapyard princess sign, the cardboard fluttering to the ground, his confidence shattered, his face flushed with embarrassment, his earlier bravado a ghost. Mara's inner voice was serene. Their silence is my triumph. I'm just warming up. The air was heavy with the scent of defeat. The crowd's earlier bravado a ghost that lingered in the shadows of a range. The fall breeze a quiet witness to their downfall. After her 5th bullseye, the judge's booth erupted in chaos, a flurry of motion and whispered arguments, the air thick with panic. Arthur, his medals clinking as he moved, rewatched the footage on a tablet, his face a mask of disbelief, muttering, "The system's malfunctioning. This can't be right." His voice a growl of frustration. Clara, her tablet abandoned on the desk, stared at the scoreboard, pale, her hands trembling as she gripped the edge of the table, her earlier disdain replaced by fear. A younger judge, Liam Drake, 39, pulled up Silas Holt's archive footage on his laptop, his voice trembling as he spoke. It's the same. The rhythm, the grip. She's his daughter. The crowd overheard, their whispers turning to gasps, a ripple of shock spreading through the stands like wildfire. Their world turned upside down. Arthur slammed his fist on the table, his control slipping, his voice a growl. We misjudged her. Mara's inner voice was calm. They doubted me. Now, they're rewriting their own rules. The booth smelled of stale coffee and panic. The judge's earlier arrogance replaced by a frantic need to understand the impossible. Their voices a chaotic symphony of disbelief. Shots 6 through 10 followed. 10.0, 10.0, 10.0, 10.0, 10.0. Each a metronome, a surgical strike against their egos, each crack of her rifle a reminder of their folly, a testament to her skill. Elise's smirk vanished, her eyes wet with unshed tears, her hands trembling as she clutched her Glock, her earlier confidence a distant memory, her heart heavy with regret. Jace's jaw clenched, sweat beading on his forehead, his inner voice fracturing. She's unreal. She can't be. His amber eyes darted to the scoreboard. The numbers a relentless assault on his legacy, his hands tightening around his beret as if it could anchor him, his pride a crumbling fortress. Shot 10 rang out, clean and absolute, like a bell tolling their defeat, the sound echoing through the range like a final judgment, a declaration of Mara's triumph. The scoreboard flashed, 10.0, 100.0 total. Mara removed her bandana, her blue-gray eyes cold as ice, her beauty glowing under the sun, her scars visible on her hands, marks of a hidden past that now stood as a testament to her strength, a symbol of her resilience. Arthur stammered, his tablet shaking in his hands. That's 0 visual delay. Silas Holt's technique, his voice barely above a whisper, his authority shattered. A figure stepped forward, unnoticed until now, gray-haired, wearing worn leather gloves, his face etched with decades of hardship, his eyes a mirror of Mara's, their blue-gray hue a quiet testament to their bond. The crowd gasped, recognizing Silas Holt, the sniper legend presumed dead 25 years ago, his presence a shock that rippled through the stands. His gravelly voice cut through the silence, each word a weighty declaration. She doesn't need sight. A rifle's a map if you know its heart. He turned to Mara, who'd been blindfolded moments ago, and said, his voice soft but firm, "My daughter hasn't fired a shot in 15 years. Today, she showed you her bloodline." The crowd froze, their reality shattered, their world turned upside down by the revelation, their earlier mockery a bitter memory. At 12, Mara had trained with Silas in a Maine forest, her small hands learning to strip a rifle blindfolded, the scent of pine and gun oil filling her lungs, the sound of the wind in the trees a soothing backdrop. She'd whispered, "Don't fail me, Dad," as he guided her grip, his voice soft but firm. "The rifle speaks if you listen." That memory flashed through her mind as she stood on the range, her father's presence now real, her shots a tribute to his lessons, a bridge between past and present that no amount of mockery could break, a testament to their unbreakable bond. Jace's face drained, his record broken, his amber eyes hollow, his pride a shattered relic. Elise sank into her seat, her mockery a regret, her inner voice broken. I mocked a legend's child. Theo stared at his dropped sign, his ego in pieces, his earlier bravado a bitter memory. Edgar Holt saluted silently, his eyes misty, honoring Silas through Mara, his respect a quiet tribute. Cameras flashed, reporters shouting, their voices a chaotic symphony of awe and disbelief. Mara met Silas's gaze outside, her rifle slung over her shoulder, the weight a comforting reminder of her journey. Elise approached, her ponytail limp, her eyes red with unshed tears, her voice cracking with sincerity. "I was wrong," she said, her words heavy with regret. "You're incredible." Mara nodded once, her blue-gray eyes steady, not harsh, her forgiveness a quiet strength. Elise's inner voice spiraled. "I thought I was the best." She's the truth. In the aftermath, Clara, the judge who'd sabotaged Mara's ammo, stepped forward, her face ashen, addressing the crowd with a trembling voice, her confession a public unraveling. I was wrong," she said, her words shaking with the weight of her guilt. "I tried to stop her, and she proved me a fool." Cameras captured her confession, her career unraveling before the elite she'd once served, her earlier malice a boomerang that returned to destroy her. The crowd, once her allies, turned away, their respect gone, their silence a condemnation. Mara met Clara's gaze, her blue-gray eyes steady, not vengeful, her grace a stark contrast to Clara's shame. Clara's inner voice cracked. "I thought I held power. She's the one who commands." News outlets later reported Clara's resignation, framing it as atonement for her malice, her downfall a testament to Mara's impact. Another twist landed like a bombshell, a revelation that shattered the crowd's assumptions. A man in a charcoal suit, unnoticed until now, stepped forward. Nathaniel Gray, 36, a tech billionaire whose software powered military satellites, his presence a quiet storm. His hazel eyes locked on Mara, his voice calm but firm, each word a declaration of loyalty. "My wife doesn't need your applause. She came to honor her father, not to entertain you." The crowd gasped. Mara, the beggar, was married to one of America's richest men, her wealth hidden by choice, making their mockery absurd, their earlier judgments a bitter irony. Nathaniel's inner voice reflected. They judged her by her boots. "I love her for her spirit." Mara's inner voice was serene. "I didn't shoot for them. I shot for Dad." The revelation hung in the air like a storm cloud, the crowd's earlier scorn now a bitter taste in their mouths. Mara's past unraveled in fragments, pieced together by journalists, each detail a testament to her resilience. Born in a Maine coastal town, She'd grown up in a weathered cabin, Silas her quiet mentor, his lessons a lifeline in a world that sought to break her. Her mother died when Mara was 6, leaving her and Silas a tight unit. Bound by the range, their bond a quiet strength. At 16, Mara matched her father's precision, her skill a testament to years of training under his steady guidance. In 2000, Silas took her on his last mission, a teenage prodigy as his spotter, their partnership a quiet harmony. The operation failed, ambushed in a remote valley, the sound of gunfire and screams a haunting memory. Silas presumed dead. Mara, 14, was left alone, her world shattered. She survived in hiding, training in secret ranges from Serbia to Yemen, her father's lessons her anchor, her rifle a constant companion. Her burns came from a 2012 raid, saving a village school, the flames searing her hands as she pulled children from the fire, their cries echoing in her nightmares. She met Nathaniel in 2021, his tech aiding her covert missions, their partnership a quiet strength. They married quietly, her wealth a secret, her love for him a steady anchor. Her inner voice reflected, "They took my father, my name, but not my aim." Ironwood was her return, her tribute to Silas, a testament to her unbreakable spirit. Jace faced fallout in 2026 at a defense summit, his career a crumbling fortress. Sponsors dropped him, citing Mara's performance, their voices a chorus of admiration for her skill. Admirals praised her, sterling skilled, but Holt's daughter is the future, their words a bitter pill for Jace to swallow. Jace missed shots in his next match, his confidence shattered, his inner voice broken. "I was untouchable. She stole my throne." General Magnus Sterling publicly rebuked Jace at a ministry briefing, a rare disgrace for the family, his voice sharp with disappointment. "My son underestimated Mara Stone," he said, his tone cutting. "Her skill is what we should emulate, not his arrogance." The military elite, once Jace's allies, shifted focus to Mara's zero visual delay, their respect a quiet tribute to her legacy. Jace felt his father's disappointment like a weight, his inner voice shattered. "I was his pride. Now I'm his lesson." His career stalled, his name a footnote to Mara's legend, his pride a bitter memory. Theo tried auctioning his firearm collection to fund a range, but buyers, aware of his mockery, bid low, whispering he bet against Holt's daughter, their voices a quiet condemnation. His venture failed, his wealth drained, his inner voice bitter. "I thought I was invincible. She broke me." News framed it as justice. His cruelty returned, a testament to Mara's impact. Roland faced exile at a defense gala in 2026, his downfall a public spectacle. Peers shunned him, whispering about his mockery of Mara, their voices a chorus of disdain. He called her a beggar, a diplomat sneered, turning away, his rejection a final blow. Roland's contracts vanished, his influence fading, his inner voice bitter. "I thought I ruled this world." She tore down. A defense journal exposed his role in Mara's humiliation, sealing his downfall, his pride a shattered relic. Mara vanished, teaching kids in rural ranges, her wealth funding free camps, her legacy a quiet strength. In 2027, Ironwood erected a bronze statue of Mara, blindfolded mid-shot, a testament to her triumph. By 2027, her performance sparked a global movement, with ranges worldwide adopting her zero visual delay technique, crediting Mara's method, her skill a beacon for aspiring shooters. A documentary, The Blindfolded Prodigy, aired on defense channels, detailing her shots and Silas's legacy. Narrated by a retired admiral, its narration a tribute to her resilience. Students in her camps wore patches reading Holt's aim, their pride evident, their voices a chorus of admiration. Mara's journey teaches us that true strength lies in resilience, not appearances, a lesson that resonates with the courage we all seek, to rise above judgment, to honor our roots, and to prove our worth through action, not words. Her story mirrors the universal struggle to overcome adversity, to find hope in the face of cruelty, and to reclaim our power through unwavering determination. What lesson from Mara's triumph resonates with you most? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear how her story inspires you to face your own challenges. Mara's legacy and stories like hers live on through Daily Narrated Stories, a channel dedicated to sharing tales that uplift and empower, stories that remind us of the strength within us all. We're on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers by next month. Don't miss out on more life-changing narratives. Subscribe now, comment your thoughts, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Time's ticking. Join our community today and be part of something truly inspiring.